client wants to know if I inherit a house, do I have to pay taxes when I sell it?
Maybe.
So it depends.
It depends. So when you inherit property, your cost basis is whatever the value is on that day you inherit. So if grandma bought a house for $5,000 back in 1952 and you inherited here in 2025 and it's worth $500,000, when you go to sell it, your cost is $500,000, regardless of what grandma paid, regardless of anything. It's whatever the value is when you received it. So you have to look at, okay, I inherit on this date, I sell on that date. Is it short term? Is it long term? If I lived in it, do I get a personal use exclusion? If I lived in it for up to 2 years out of the last five, am I married? Am I single? And then do I have a taxable gain after all that is considered? So if you a lot of people who inherit property, there's like two camps. So camp number one is they sell it right away. And if you sell it right away, then there's no gain because there hasn't been any time for the market to do anything. And there's no tax there. The other camp is people who inherit the property, they live in it and just stay there forever. You don't see too many cases where somebody inherits and then they sell it like 3 years later. That would be probably the situation where there would be the most tax, because maybe you don't build up your 2 years of personal use exclusion, maybe you're single or what have you. There's a large amount of it depends there, but yeah, it's the basic building blocks. The key point is when you inherit property, your cost basis is the value when you inherit. And that's what's called the step up in basis. And that applies to stock, it applies to real estate, it applies to any kind of asset. Um, and under the current administration, I'm not concerned. But under the last administration, they were actively looking at that as to whether to eliminate that provision. But obviously that never happened. So that's good.